All right, so we're now going to work with the trim extend and with the fillet commands, fillet chamfer. Trim and extend allows you to either trim lines back to particular lines or extend them to those lines. It does have a limitation. It will not allow you to trim to lines that would not actually intersect. For example, I could not trim this line against that line. So let's say we want to extend some lines. That's the other option for trim. I want to extend perhaps to here, and I'm going to add those two lines so that I can pick multiple objects, okay? Having picked those objects, I now need to say, well, what do I want to extend to? So I select this object and it will extend it to some of the objects I have selected. If I hold the Shift key, it will give me the menu underneath this, the trim, and so this will be trimmed back and this one will be trimmed back. If I let go of the Shift key, I'm now extending, but you'll see I cannot extend this line because it does not actually intersect with this point. Okay, it does not allow you to extend to lines that would not actually intercept. Okay, so that would be that. I'm going to extend, actually I'm going to trim all of those back. Trim, trim, trim. Um, the next thing would be enter to end that command, and I would go to fillet. Now fillet will allow me to round a corner, and it says that the radius is 0, and that's really useful. So I can pick one object and I can fillet those and it will give me a square corner. And the same thing is true if I pick chamfer and everything is set to 0, those two objects will close to a corner. And so that's the way you extend things that don't intersect. The other piece that's interesting about this is that you can ask for this command. Okay, let's go back to fillet. And you can say here, instead of selecting the first object, you select M for multiple. Okay, and that means I can now trim these objects multiply, and it will just keep going until I escape, enter, or hit the escape key, and I can just keep cleaning things up. And so that can be very useful. The other piece of this is what this is really intended for, is that I might give it a radius of 1 inch. Okay, so I'll type R because down here R for radius, and I might say the radius is 1 inch. Now when I pick these objects, and I'm going to say multiple again, okay, you'll see that it will round these corners. Okay, if I should choose to chamfer, chamfer is a slice off the corner, and I give it distances. Okay, let's give it distances. The first chamfer distance, which I believe is in the X direction, let's make that 1 inch. Enter. And the second chamfer distance, it gives me 1 inch, and that would give me a 45-degree swipe. But let's say that's 3 inches. Okay, and let's say I want to do M for multiple, and then I can pick this one and that one, and you'll see, yes, X is in 1, Y is in 3. Okay, so it slices off a little edge of that. Okay, and so that is trim, extend, fillet, and chamfer.